Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make homemade baguettes. I'm going to show you tips and tricks that I learned in culinary school to help you make the perfect homemade baguettes. So let's get started. So there's a few tools and equipment needed to make these. They're not crucial, but they're good to have. So it includes an instant reed thermometer, a bench knife, a bowl scraper, and a scale. Again, these aren't crucial, they're just good to have when making these baguettes. So the first thing you'll need to do is scale all the ingredients. A scale is a really good tool to have because you get way more accuracy with all your ingredients. I'll also give you the measurements in cups if you prefer not to use a scale. So measure out the bread flour into a small bowl. And measure out the warm water in another small bowl. And measure the instant dry yeast. If you're using active dry yeast, you'll need a little more, and these are the measurements for that. And measure out the salt. Then just add all the ingredients except the salt into a large bowl. The salt will kill the yeast if it comes into direct contact with it. If you're using instant dry yeast, you can just mix it with all the ingredients, but if you're using active dry yeast, you have to let it sit in the warm water for at least 10 minutes before mixing it with the ingredients. And then start off mixing it with a spoon to combine all the ingredients. And then use your hands to bring it together into a ball. And once you start forming a ball, then you can add in the salt. And continue working with it until the salt is mixed into the dough. Then lightly flour your work surface. This dough is not very sticky, so you might not need much at all. And turn the dough out onto the floured surface. And knead it for about 10 to 20 minutes. You really want to develop the gluten. To really help develop the gluten, pick up the dough and throw it hard onto the countertop. The harder you do it, the better, but don't do it more than 30 times. Just do it about 3 to 5 times and then continue kneading it. To tell if it's ready, break off a piece of the dough, roll it into a ball, and gently stretch it out until it's thin enough that you can see light through it. But if it's breaking a lot while you're stretching it, then it's not ready. You have to knead it a little bit longer. So once you can stretch it thinly without it breaking a lot, then it's ready. So once it's ready, grease the bowl that you had the dough in with nonstick cooking spray. Then place the dough inside. Wrap it tightly in plastic wrap, making sure no air can get inside. And let it rise in a warm place for at least an hour until it doubles in size. And once it's ready, lightly flour your work surface. And turn the dough out onto the surface. and press on it. You're not trying to get rid of the air, you're just redistributing it so it's even all throughout the dough. And use a bench knife to cut the dough in half. Again, you don't have to use a bench knife. And I'm weighing each piece to make sure they're the same size. Then roll up each piece into a log and tuck each end underneath. And repeat that with the second one. Then cover them in plastic wrap and let them bench rest for 15 minutes. This is to let the gluten relax and make it easier to shape. Then flip over one of the pieces so the flat side is facing down and gently press it to flatten it, but not too hard because you don't want to lose the air. And then roll it up and make sure it's tightly sealed. Then flip it over and roll it out until it's a long cylinder shape. Try and make it the same width all the way throughout and make sure it's the same length as the pan you're using. And repeat that process with the other half of the dough. Then line a half sheet pan with parchment paper and sprinkle it with some semolina or cornmeal, and place each dough on top of the pan, and rub some water on top of each one, and let them rise in a warm place for about 45 minutes until they nearly double in size. Meanwhile, preheat the oven to 450 degrees. And once the dough has risen again, gently rub more water on top of each one. Then using a small paring knife, score 5 slashes on top of each one. Just dip it in water so it doesn't really stick to the dough. And once you score it, you have to get it into the oven immediately because those gases will start escaping once you score it. So get it into the oven and then spray it with water. You want to spray everywhere in the oven, not just on the dough. And then bake it for about 20 to 25 minutes. And once it's ready, remove it from the oven and check the temperature using an instant read thermometer. It should be between 190 and 200 degrees. It's okay if it's a little over. Again, it's not crucial to use an instant read thermometer. You can tell when it's done by the color of the baguette. So if it's ready, let it cool for about 10 minutes and you can serve it while it's still warm if you like. And that's how to make the perfect homemade baguettes. Check out more of my videos here and subscribe to my channel here so you don't miss out on any of my videos. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.